Good afternoon, book lovers of the internet. I am Book Nerd 802, and in this video, I am going to be reviewing Alice in Borderland Volume 3 by Haro Aso. Recently, I have very much been immersing myself in the world of Alice in Borderland, and I also very recently finished watching the second season of the live action show online. So this one has about 350 pages, I would say. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, so a pretty good rating overall. And I feel as though this volume really captured the true nature of how horrible hard games could be. In fact, we see the Ten of Hearts game being played out, and I am very surprised at how closely the show followed the manga, despite some slight differences here and there, nothing I haven't already said in my previous reviews of Alice in Borderland. I love the Netflix adaptation, perhaps a bit more than the manga series, to be honest, and I am surprised that nobody realized that the witch could have been a person who committed suicide, considering how so many characters are going through the worst period of their lives, and surely suicide must cross their minds very frequently. And I kind of loved the mysterious element of the short story in the middle, which is excluded from the show. So there is a story where another character altogether is introduced. He is completely new to the world of Borderland, and he meets Arisu during one of the games. And yeah, the main character, Arisu, popped up out of nowhere. And I thought that since he was hooded, this character whose identity was being hidden throughout the short story. Um, I thought it would be Chishiya, considering that Shuntaro's always wearing a hoodie in the show, but it turned out to be Arisu all along. And yeah, to be honest, Chishiya is my favorite character, and Nijiro Murakami is one of my favorite actors of all time, and his personality is one I try to emulate every single day, even though we're quite similar to begin with anyway. But yeah, it was a good short story despite deviating from the main plotline of the Ten of Hearts game. So this one was the Four of Hearts game, the one with the new character, which was quite brutal too, considering how childish the game is, and yet the consequences of it being death or electrocution. Regardless of whether you answer the questions correctly or not, you either get electrocuted or you die by falling from a very high place, basically. And honestly, I feel as though John Wick, um, in the fourth movie, he would have survived the fall quite easily, and the volume is very action packed, though we don't see much of Arisu himself, as he is tied up in a room, pitying himself for killing his buddies and for not wanting to live anymore, despite his friends having sacrificed themselves for him to do so. The survivor's guilt in this volume is absolutely diabolical, and Haro also knows entirely what he is doing with his audience's hearts. Um, yeah, the way character backgrounds are displayed is not very satisfying, as it's just snippets here and there rather than a short chapter. For instance, Kuina is such a babe, and I also love the portrayal of trans people here. So instead of, for instance, getting to know the characters bit by bit through a chapter, the information we have to gather ourselves as readers. And yeah, basically, the trans representation of Kuina is brilliant and it feels natural for some reason. And then again, on the other hand, Usagi doesn't do anything impressive much, save for her climbing, which saves her life. So this one, Volume 3, is another reread, by the way. I've been doing a lot of rereads this year so far. Not to say that I'm disappointed that I read these all over again, and I'm pretty sure I'm holding this the wrong way up. So this is the way it's meant to look like. We have Shuntaro Chishiya at the top, I think. And this one is Last Boss over here, or Final Boss, not quite sure, but pretty cool character as well, despite how much of a villain he is. I mean, he is one of the several representations of how villains are made rather than born. And this book also presented me with quite a moral dilemma. I mean, is it fine to kill everyone if only to save yourself, or should you admit to being the witch or being trustworthy at the expense of being killed, but saving everyone else? I mean, overall, it's a very cruel game because the witch can't really come forward and admit to being the one who is meant to be sacrificed for the simple reason that she's already dead. She's committed suicide. Now, many people, this thought wouldn't have gone through their minds, as was the case with the game, but I think I would have figured it out. And I'm pretty sure that Arisu would as well. And I guess trust is a notion which is ignored entirely in a place like Borderland, where there are no morals anymore. So yeah, I mean, to add on to the survivor's guilt which Arisu feels in Volume 2, I feel as though in Volume 2 it was rather rushed, but in this one, um, that hurriedness was certainly made up for, um, and we don't even see that aspect in the show, but it's very, very clearly stated in the manga volume, and it's imprinted in my mind. It's hard to get rid of, to be honest. Hard games are absolutely horrible. No need for me to say that another time. Just watch the show, read the manga volumes, and you will know for yourself. Um, the protagonist, basically Arisu, is very lucky in this one because he was about to die from an expired visa, but the location in which he was being held captive became an arena, so he will not die. I mean, he is the main character, and apparently in Borderland, all you need is the will to live in order to survive. So even if, for instance, you are killed, if you wish to survive, then somehow you will, regardless of what happens to you. Okay, basically, just to sum up what I just said, I'm not sure if these are coming across as spoilers or not. I'm not trying to spoil anything because just reading the book is extremely fun and immersive, so you don't really have to worry about spoilers. But Chishiya is, of course, extremely cool in this one and fights off Niragi. There is a very, very cool scene. I believe one of his very popular phrases is Atamaga indamo, which means "but I am very clever" or "but I am clever though," when he is fighting Niragi off, and I committed that to memory because it sounds so cool. Kuina takes on Last Boss, and Agony just sees everyone as meat puppets in order to make his killing spree easier, basically. I'm shattered by the fact that Hatter was killed, and the militants very quickly took over. Everything went to hell once they did, by the way. And I do understand that they are damaged characters because of how the world treated them, but they should be the ones who understand empathy the most. And they certainly don't, especially in this volume when the balance of power shifts entirely. I suppose that the main point of the series is to illustrate how things could always be worse, and we should be grateful for what we have and that it's never too late to make a change. And I am very much looking forward to receiving the rest of the volumes in the series for my 22nd birthday, which is in about a week and a half's time now. I did receive volumes 4 and 5 yesterday. I'll make another video to show you those. And there are another 4 volumes I now need in order to complete my collection. And I am curious to see whether or not we'll find out what might happen if players never get a visa upon arriving in Borderland. For instance, if you do arrive in Borderland and never play a game, does that mean that you will survive forever? I don't think that question is ever properly tackled in either the manga or the series, and it's something that I'm very curious about. And do they just get to live there without any consequences, without any fear of dying? That is something that I look forward to learning. Hopefully, it is answered as soon as possible. But anyway, that is all I had to say about Alice in Borderland Volume 3 by Haro Aso. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Take a look at the rest of my content because why not? It's absolutely amazing. And I will see you in the next one, hopefully, very, very soon. I plan on making several videos today, so definitely stay tuned. Bye, guys.